Today, I'm going to go a bit retro. I'll review Denzel Washington's 2003 thriller, Out of Time. This is one of my favorite movies. It really got a kind of mixed reception. I don't know why, because this is one of the best movies for me of his. Denzel Washington, at the time, he was really hot in terms of his demand in Hollywood. He still is, I think, but he had just come a couple of years, or like about 4 years after winning his Academy Award with Training Day. I think that was in 2001 or 1999. I'm not sure. I always confuse those two dates. I think it's 1999 with Training Day. And then now we have him doing all these films in between, and they were really good for the most part. So you have Out of Time, 2003. It was a very unique year for me, especially being a year which I really immersed into a lot of films. Again, you have supporting actors such as Sanaa Lathan, very beautiful Sanaa Lathan. I've always loved Sanaa Lathan. Everything about Sanaa Lathan is amazing, from her acting journey. And again, we see her coming from Love and Basketball. I think that was around 1997. And then now, 6 years later, we have Out of Time. And then another beautiful woman I love to see on the screens, a very talented one as well, Eva Mendes. Now you have Denzel Washington, Eva Mendes, Sanaa Lathan, and some other actors who bring this picture to fruition, and it's really a must watch. I've watched this movie many times, and I think every other time it falls into that cycle of movies that you would always want to rewatch, like The Lord of the Rings, the Matrix trilogy, The Negotiator, and such films, which are just all-time classics. This movie, again, proves why I say we are losing something about screenwriting and directing. I know it's really hard to put my finger on it, but there's something about the time we are taking into developing really meticulously crafted stories that you can see are not rushed. And I know some of the stories we get with some of the modern films tend to be that, okay, they seem like they took time creating loops, creating storylines over storylines, but it comes off more as overthinking and doing it to appear like you're being, wow, this guy is blowing us out of our minds, as opposed to this is actually a creative product. And I think in the 90s it came naturally. We see these storylines flowing naturally, even in the way that the directors took these scripts. Out of Time is no different. How it starts, I don't see movies starting like that anymore. I wouldn't say how it starts, you watch it for yourself. But it's clever, it's funny, it's engaging. Before you know it, you're 30 minutes into the movie and you just, it felt like 2 minutes. Before you know it, you're in knee deep into what's going on and you want to know what's happening. That's how thrillers were crafted back then. And I would put this parallel to The Negotiator, which I've also reviewed. I think you should watch that review of mine. These are movies that are worth watching. Denzel Washington's performance was exemplary. Sanaa Lathan, again, exemplary. Eva Mendes, the in-betweens of this movie is what for me makes it a classic. I don't know why, and I still do not understand why it didn't get a higher rating across other platforms that do reviews back then, like the old OG Empire Magazine, and even more contemporary online platforms like Metacritic, IGN, and so on and so forth. But then again, you understand, just like I said, it makes sense because back then we had more quality, we had more deliberate creatives. I know it's not a low-key diss. I believe we had more commitment to the craft beyond I am making something which will make me look like a cool guy or the guy who is so creative. People were just who they were. Directors were just so good in what they did. Writers just wrote. And I think that sense of sincerity comes out in Out of Time. And my rating for Out of Time is 8 over 10. Most platforms would actually give this lower. If you look on the internet, you'll see it gets lower ratings across board. But for me, Out of Time is a must watch. So if you've never watched Out of Time, well, you're in luck because you're in for something really unique and you're in for something you'll probably keep rewatching. Till the next review. This is the first review for 2024.